After one of the coldest starts to a year on record, the triathlon season is finally springing into summer here in the fabulous grounds of this oversized English country garden. More than 7,000 triathletes are arriving here in Oxfordshire for the grand opening fixture on the domestic swim, bike, run calendar. When the sun is shining, there is surely no finer setting for a race than this beautiful 300-year-old regal estate. So welcome to the Leukaemia and Lymphoma Research Blenheim Palace Triathlon. As ever, this course provides a great balance for the thousands who are here to experience a different day to the usual mix of tourists and ramblers. Inspiring for debutantes, hard enough for the old hands, we'll follow the fastest and the first-timers as they negotiate the palace grounds. It's not just the royal setting that adds a touch of class here to Blenheim. Every year, one or two stars from the world of sport are lured here to try a new discipline or three. And while they focus on new boundaries and personal bests, the current crop of triathlon sporting stars are focused on round one of 4 of the British Triathlon Super Series. And with 2 cracking elite fields gathered, they'll need to be on top form to make a winning start to the season. A whole weekend of action gets underway at 9:20 in the lake, and whether it's an experienced elite or a nervous debutant, it's the same challenge and the same course for all. There are 40 start waves over the 2 days, each one with hundreds of men or women going off every 20 minutes. Almost all who come to Blenheim race the sprint distance, starting with a 750-metre swim in the Palace Lake. The transition is one of the biggest in the sport and has no rival when it comes to the grandeur of its setting. The 20k bike course is 3 laps on closed roads around the estate landscaped by Capability Brown, and for those inspired by the surroundings, it's followed by a 5k run. Half the field here are first-timers, and the sense of achievement at the finish can be just as great as it is at much longer events. Sprint and super sprint distances are the shortest courses available in triathlon and in this year's Super Series. It's a fast twitch fibre, high intensity workout, but we've found a group of guys who've managed to turn this weekend into the type of stamina test worthy of any Ironman's training schedule. They call themselves the Weekend Warriors. Over 2 days racing in the official start waves, they will complete the full triathlon as many times as they can. One of the group taking part is an endurance specialist who holds the record for the London to Paris Arch to Arc triathlon, which includes a channel swim. As part of the Baylis Triathlon clan, he represents a family who have built a dynasty in distance. Mark, this weekend, how many Blenheims are you attempting to do?
Hoping 8 to 9 over the 2 days. It's going to be a tough ask to do the 9th, but we're going to give it a crack.
And are you giving yourselves any time at all once you've finished before you start again, a 5 or 10 minute break, or is it just literally non-stop?
Hopefully it's non-stop, so as long as it takes to get from the finish to the start of the swim, we're just going to keep going, feed-ins for life on the bike and the run, and that's it.
Mark starts his effort by leading the first wave of the weekend out of the lake and onto the bike, where fellow warrior Ed Sutton is less equipped for speed as he prepares for an even longer challenge.
Easier going downhill.
On Wednesday, I'm leaving England to cycle around the world for 2 years for charity. So this is a steel bike, so it's a nice big strong one. It's going to be interesting today doing the triathlon on it, but I'm going to give it a go and see how many we can do in one weekend. But that's why it's got all the panniers, so these bags are going to be full of all my clothes, and this is going to be my life.
It's good training for the trip, though being surrounded by hundreds of women on bikes must itself be a new experience.
Not too bad so far. Yeah, it's okay. Nearly finished. Keep getting overtaken by girls, but what can I do?
When most people finish, it's time for a well-earned medal and a drink. Not so for Tyler O'Callaghan. It's straight through in a dash to make the next start time.
I suppose it's all in the planning, knowing that you've got to go in multiple waves, how much equipment you'll need. You need 2 lots of the equipment, where you're going to be, how you're going to get from the finish, which is all the way over there, and back down to the start. It started out as a nice group together, but as the chat's gone on this morning, I think it's getting more competitive, and we're separated quite quickly.
Tyler overtakes Mark Bayliss on the bike. Both are fast, but O'Callaghan is showing little caution, clocking times that many competitors would settle for on their single triathlon. With a very different pedigree to Bayliss, Tyler's a former winner of the SPW Super Sprint in Hyde Park, and it shows. It remains to be seen whether he can sustain this tempo for 2 days. It's gruelling work, and everyone else, meanwhile, is simply enjoying the Blenheim sunshine. Well, the weekend warriors will take around an hour and a half for every triathlon, but the elite women should be around 25 minutes quicker than that, and this year's race has brought some Olympic-sized reputations to Blenheim. After disappointment in the Olympics, where a bike crash ended her chance of making an impact, Vicky Holland then became a world champion as part of the GB team in the World Triathlon Relay in Stockholm. 2012 was quite a year.
Olympics was an absolutely incredible experience, and it's hard not to sort of keep flashing back to it and keep using that as your motivation and your inspiration to carry on. But at the same time, you have to kind of have new focuses and new dreams, new ambitions, and try to put that in the past now and move on and try and have new goals.
Holland's finished third here before, and today she'll have to battle not only a new generation of talent, but also a former Blenheim champion in South African Gillian Sanders. There's some big reputations on the line here.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. There are some really good people to race with, obviously with Gillian, and a whole host of juniors who this is their bread and butter. It's sprint distance. This is what they do. They're fast and furious, and I'm sure I'm going to have a target on my back.
Yorkshire-based Jessica Learmonth and Scott Natalie Milne are the pair taking it out hard in the swim. They're the first discipline specialists. The athletes with the reputations on the run are the up-and-coming Emma Pallant and the African triathlon champion, Gillian Sanders. Gillian, you've won this before. It's a little bit fresh this morning. Are you ready for a short, sharp effort?
I hope so. Yeah, it is fresh. I was surprised with the weather the past few days, but the same happened 2 years ago. It was really cold. The sun came out for the run. And yeah, it was an awesome race. I loved it, and I managed to win. So let's see what happens this time.
This elite women's field contains some excellent runners, and their job, as is always the case in triathlon, is to make sure that they're still in touch come the end of the bike. Well, one unique element of this Blenheim course, which those athletes will love, is the opportunity to stretch their legs after the swim, because there's a 400-metre run uphill into transition one. Let's join your race commentator then, Patrick Winterton.
They're into the last 50 metres of this 750-metre swim, and no surprise to see Natalie Milne and Jess Learmonth leading the way. Milne is first out of the water, someone who started triathlon back in 2006, and she's done incredibly well. Learmonth, a good swimmer, she rides pretty well as well. She's been racing locally. Second place, I'm not sure whether she'll be able to stay with the pace on the running. This is the first opportunity for the runners to make their mark, that 400-metre climb up into T1, and Milne set off well. Sanders, Pallant, Vicky Holland out of the water already. Vicky Holland's certainly one of the favourites to win here today, and she, of course, represented Great Britain in the Olympics. Milne still pushing hard. She was fifth here back in 2011. She certainly wants to do better than that today. She's had a rough time, actually. Shin splints for 3 years, 2008 all the way through to 2011, and hopefully that won't hinder her running too much today. Milne, who famously won her first ever triathlon. Well, is she going to win here today? It's a big ask, because there's lots of strong competition. Nice powerful run into T1, and you can see just how long it is. And all the while, she's got to be thinking about the next phase. Well, at the moment, she's thinking about the 25-year-old Jess Learmonth, who's in second place behind her, some 50 metres adrift of the leader. Learmonth, who's had knee problems in the past, so perhaps just taking this transition into T1 a little slower. Here comes Vicky Holland. Training in South Africa earlier on this year. She enjoyed that. Didn't enjoy the weather back in UK in April and May. And this, of course, is Holland's first race of the season as well. So a little bit of an unknown quantity, but we do know that she's going well on the bike, and she always runs strongly. So through T1, the drill's essential. It's so easy to throw away 5-10 seconds through transition. Milne is through, looking a little bit fatigued after that effort coming up the hill. Learmonth, well, that was an opportunity for Learmonth to close the gap, but her number has come off. Well, the clip has snapped, and that's going to cause a problem, but quick thinking, she's tied a knot, so she's got the number on to make herself legal, but the seconds ticking away, and she's lost second place. Holland has gone through, and that's 15 seconds or so that Learmonth has lost after a really good swim. Emma Pallant, the best runner perhaps in the field. There's Gillian Sanders, South African Olympian from 2012, 19th in the Olympic Games in London. She'd love to get another win here. Already had 2 DNFs this year, which she wasn't happy about. Here's Emma Pallant. Remember, watch out for her later in the race. If she can stay in touch on the bike, she'll certainly give the likes of Holland and Learmonth a run for their money when it comes to the final stage. Just in front of these two, you might have got a glimpse of Natalie Milne, who's now extended her lead to some 150 metres. A brave move by Natalie Milne, aiming for the Commonwealth Games in 2014, of course, held up in Scotland, and she'd love to do her best result there. Holland just settling into the bike ride. 20 kilometres, remember the distance. Milne, again, a long look over the shoulder. That's the 3rd or 4th time we've seen her trying to clock the opposition. As she gets more experience, she'll do less and less of that. Holland and Learmonth still the 2 riders behind her, but you can see the main pack are gaining, and they're moving very well indeed. And Gillian Sanders, I suspect, is at the front of that main pack doing some work, trying to close the gap on the front 3 positions. Now Vicky Holland turns it on, the main climb on the course. Learmonth digging in behind her, right in the slipstream, riding well. So many youngsters on the triathlon scene now, all inspired by what they saw at the Olympic Games last year. Emma Pallant surely will be one of them, coached now by Michelle Dillon. She's got a 15:35 PB for the 5,000 metre distance. She'll be dangerous on the last leg. Gillian Sanders, recent winner of the African Continental Championships, and she raced well in Portugal recently. She'll be trying to close the gap on the leaders.
With the chase group showing no signs of catching Milne, Learmonth took her leave and set about closing the gap on the Scot, a mission accomplished on the 2nd lap. They would need every available second on the runners in the chase group. Emma Pallant, in the blue here, was a big loss to the world of athletics, but under the guidance of Michelle Dillon, could make a big impact on the world of triathlon.
Exciting. I'm really enjoying it. I love the lifestyle, sort of doing that much more training, constantly, yeah, pushing your body to the limit. I'm really enjoying it. The season's just all about experience, just race experience, just learning as much as possible, getting stuck in it. I might be able to get amongst it, but yeah, it's just all about learning this season and just see how it goes.
Surrounded by the likes of Sanders and Holland, she was certainly in amongst it now. But would the gap to the hard-working leaders be too much to close? With transition approaching, let's rejoin commentary with Patrick.
So the 2 who were first out of the water and first into T1 are going to be the first into T2 as well. Milne once again leading Learmonth. Milne preparing for the entry into T2. Learmonth leaving it very, very late, and she has to come to a grinding halt. That's a few valuable seconds thrown away, and Milne once again has opened up a 10-15 metre lead as they come into this second transition. Milne looking very determined, but she knows that the 3rd leg of this triathlon is the one that she will suffer on the most, and those shin splints that I mentioned will not help now. I guess if she completes without injury, she'll be happy. Learmonth from Wetherby, 25. And here come the pack. Coldwell's there, Holland and Sanders, 2 dangerous athletes. And of course, Emma Pallant, the runner, looking fluent already. but she knows just how difficult it is to transfer from the bike to the run, and that is going to take a few years before she gets as good as those at the front of the field. As I mentioned, Pallant pretty slick over the ground, 15:35 for a 5K. She's got a 4:09 for 1,500 meters. That is useful running, but it's so different after the swim and the bike. They're on to the run now. Natalie Milne, Jess Learmonth leading the way. 5,000 meters remaining, and the quicker runners coming up behind them fast.
So less than 5K to go for the leading elite women. Join us after the break for the climax of that race, and we'll also be trying to grab a word or two with former European 400-metre champion Ewan Thomas, as well as catching up with the weekend warriors to find out if the non-stop action is starting to take its toll. See you soon. Welcome back to Oxfordshire for the Leukaemia and Lymphoma Research Blenheim Palace Triathlon. Now, while there are still thousands of debutantes and club triathletes yet to start their adventure across the Royal Estate, the elite women are coming towards the end of their race, so let's rejoin your commentator, Patrick Winterton.
The leading women coming towards the end of lap number 1 of 2, and Milne still has the lead, but I don't think it's going to be for long because Vicky Holland is storming up behind her, onto her shoulder now, and she won't hang around here. Learmonth trying to hang on, and just behind them, Emma Pallant in the blue tri-suit, running well, but not gaining on the leaders quite as quickly as we thought she might. Holland looking composed. Remember, this is her first triathlon of the season. She's canned a couple in her preparations, just wasn't happy with her state of fitness and 1 or 2 niggles, but she's looking in fine form at the moment. Nice steady head, good solid breathing, there's no panic here, and I haven't seen her look over her shoulder once today, which has to be a good sign. Pallant now moving into third, onto the podium positions and closing down on Milne. It looks as though it will be between Pallant and Holland. Sanders has certainly picked the pace up. She may be going for the Skechers Speed Zone prize, a 200-metre stretch. All 7,000 athletes competing here this weekend will be timed over that section, including Mark Bayliss, and he is on an absolute marathon, trying to complete as many sprint triathlons as he can in one weekend.
Just rushing to get this wave, so the second half of the process is okay.
The wave's going off every 20 minutes, so if he misses it, it's a 20-minute wait and 20 minutes wasted.
If I don't nail this wave, I don't think I'll make the 3 o'clock wave. As we're getting further in, I'm getting slower.
So the weekend warriors
Shall I just start swimming, or?
have an almighty task ahead of them. Mark Bayliss, Tyler O'Callaghan is in there, Ed Sutton is trying it as well, and you can see them weaving their way through the crowds. They're still keeping pace with the waves, who are fresh as daisies. The battle we were expecting between Holland and Pallant has developed, and they've left the rest of the women's field behind. Holland with the lead at the moment, but it's short-lived because Emma Pallant is on the charge. She was a little slow through the transitions, but everyone knows the hardest part of triathlon is the switch from bike to run.
Totally different experience. Like, I was trying to explain to my running friends who, they're like, oh yeah, looking at the times and being like, you'll smash these girls. I was like, well, actually, like, first of all, you got to be there, so you've got to swim and bike your butt off, and then when you get off the bike, you just, yeah, you're running on quads, and it's tough.
Pallant with the lead. Holland has responded well. Holland, of course, missing some races in April. She suffered like so many with colds and coughs, but she is back, and she's back in style.
We'll just see how it goes. I'm looking forward to a really good hit out. I love racing in Blenheim. It's a fantastic location, a really well-run race, and hopefully it'll be the catalyst to start my season. I also think that racing really brings you on a level. I think particularly with your running, it can really help sharpen you up a little bit, so I needed to get out there and get involved.
800 metres to go or so in the women's triathlon here at Blenheim. Gillian Sanders, the South African, some 200 metres further back, just coming across the bridge. Emma Pallant goes for a push at the start of the climb up towards the Palace, and that is very, very early to start going for it because it's a painful finish. Holland really hasn't changed her body language all the way through today's race, and she stuck it out because Pallant came past her very, very fast indeed, and Pallant still accelerating. Holland still responding. Here's Gillian Sanders, slightly shorter stride. She's safe in third, but she's got no chance of catching the two leaders. And again, Pallant goes for the push. This would be a fantastic win for the youngster if she pulled it off. Vicky Holland looks to be tying up a little round the final bend. Now they can see the finish, and it's about 400 metres from here to that finishing banner. 9:39 was the time for Holland out of the water. Pallant was some 30 seconds slower, so she worked well on the bike, and of course we saw the work she had to do to catch up on the run. And now Holland responds. It looks as though she's got another gear. She's got something else to give. Pallant is going to have to show her strength here. Now they've got 200 metres, and still Holland is pushing. Pallant with no response this time. The physiotherapist from Aldershot is left standing in the last 100 metres, and Holland just raises the knees, pumps the arms, and gets faster and faster as she heads towards the finishing line. It's going to be a fantastic victory for Vicky Holland, one of Britain's Olympians last year. She starts her season with a bang. She takes the win in Blenheim. Brilliant performance and a fantastically timed sprint at the finish. Pallant some 7-8 seconds adrift, having put up a fantastic fight. And Gillian Sanders coming in now, a previous winner here in Blenheim, but third today.
Wow, what a race, what a finish.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I was really scared before today. Like, I had no idea where to expect myself to be, and if anything, I was really worried about my running. So to come off the bike and actually feel really fluid straight away was an absolute relief. And at the end, I just felt like, you know, I've got an extra gear here. Come on, use it and fight for the win. And it worked.
You looked so strong when you started the run.
Yeah, I was so surprised. I thought, you know, I've not done really any running off the bike, and like I say, this is my first race of the year. Had no idea what to expect, and as soon as we got going, I felt really good. And as I say, such a relief and such a nice feeling to be back out there and racing again.
Michelle Dillon congratulating Emma Pallant.
Felt confident, I thought, just relax, and then I thought I'd kick at the bottom of the hill. I saw the big red thing, I thought that's got to be the finish, but it wasn't. We still had like another 100 to go, and I died of death. But yeah, again, it's learning, it's good.
I was just able to come through, which I'm really pleased about, and on the podium, so good day out.
So the three podium ladies for today. And let's have a look at the times. 1:06.58 for Vicky Holland, just 8 seconds clear of Emma Pallant. Gillian Sanders pretty much on her own in third place, ahead of Natalie Milne, who was outstanding in the early stages.
So the celebrations and the speeches begin for Vicky Holland, the first winner of this year's Super Series. The elite men's race promises to be just as dramatic, but now let's turn our attention to some athletes who may not be as quick as these three, but they're equally keen to make an impact here on this Blenheim course. So he's just getting his gels on board. He's poised and ready to go. The former European champion over 400 metres, Ewan Thomas, who has done this course before. Ewan, what about all the intense training you've been doing in the lead up to this?
Trained so hard, Rob. No, I've done nothing. Blenheim's an amazing location, and I've had some good times there and one bad time the first time I did it when my seat fell off. So hopefully my seat's all right. And my problem is, whatever I do, I get carried away. So I have to hold back in the swim and just take it nice and steady. But no, I can't wait. It's a great sport. I mean, everyone turns out and you're getting to run against all different abilities, and I love it. Basically, I just always want to try and keep fit, and you know, since I've retired, it's hard to replace that buzz of competition, and a triathlon for me is the perfect sport where I can just put myself against myself, really, against a stopwatch.
It's a race against time for Tyler too. He just about makes the water for the start of Ewan's wave. Along with Mark Bayliss, he's still on course to complete 4 triathlons today and potentially 8 over a very long weekend. Tyler and Mark's epic battle goes on, whilst the shortest courses are reserved for the shortest legs, those racing in the MySport Kids Duathlon, with big enthusiasm though. It's not only the youngsters who are new to the sport.
I couldn't swim 8 weeks ago, so about learned to swim, so no, big achievement.
Another newcomer is rugby player Livio Belpassi, one of the army of unstoppables, raising £300,000 between them for leukaemia and lymphoma research. In 2008, while his father was fighting non-Hodgkin lymphoma, Livio himself was diagnosed with Hodgkin lymphoma. His presence here, taking on a triathlon, is an inspiration. You, in a way, have sort of turned a bit of a corner here. You've got fit again, you've remembered your dad brilliantly, and you've raised loads of cash as well. So all in all, a really sort of uplifting day, really.
You know, I was saying to the charity that, you know, as long as we can raise awareness and, you know, help people get through difficult times like I've gone through, but we can just spread the word and give a message out to people that there is support, and events like this create that awareness, and it's a great cause overall.
How was the experience?
Amazing. The support was absolutely amazing. Just the adrenaline rush you get when you come around the home corner.
And that 5K at the end is deceptively hard, isn't it? Because that drag up to the Palace is quite long.
Yeah, it is, but it's, you know, great views, and again, the support carries you up there. So yeah, all in all, right, amazing fans, amazing event, really.
The thrill of running between the crowds on the last few hundred metres is something enjoyed by every Blenheim finisher, and in many cases there are some powerful motivations behind the smiles. Well, Hester, armed with your chief supporter, she's enjoying a bit of flapjack. Massive smiles when you cross the line, a lot of emotion as well. What a day.
It's the first time I've wanted to do a triathlon for a long time, and my husband is currently in the bone marrow transplant unit in Southampton. And we managed to raise £13,000 for the leukaemia and lymphoma research today. And I'm very proud to have gone around, and I'm incredibly excited and fun to be here. It's lovely.
Has it almost been a way for you to take something positive from such a difficult situation for your family?
Well, I think training and having a focus has kept me sane, and it's kept me upbeat. We have 3 small children, and it's kept me, I suppose, you know, able to cope with what has been a monumental challenge. We miss him. He should be here, but unfortunately he can't be.
Did the children see you on the course? Did you see Mummy?
Yep.
Whereabouts? Did you see her in the swim or on the bike or on the run?
I couldn't really see Mummy on the swim because all of the hats were red, but I saw her on the cycling and the running.
Wow, hey, and do you think one day you might have a go at a triathlon?
Yeah.
Like always, amazing event, support, crowd.
Happy times for many, but the weekend warriors will have to wait before they celebrate. There's another day to go for them. Ed, so the training continues for the 2-year cycle round the world. 3 Blenheims in one day. What an effort.
Oh, thanks very much. Yeah, the last one hurt just a bit. The first 2 are okay, but yeah, the last one's really taken it out of me.
Even the mighty Tyler's looking tired, finishing just a few minutes ahead of Mark Bayliss, though it's all to play for on the second day. How many?
4.
4. That is a superb effort.
It feels like about 20, and we still got tomorrow, but I'm pleased with how it went.
Well, get rested, and we'll see you bright and breezy tomorrow morning.
Definitely, look forward to it.
Well done.
Bye-bye.
Well, some tired legs, but big smiles and plenty of heroics here on day 1 at Blenheim. Join us after the break for more of the same, and the elite men prepare to take centre stage, so we'll see you very soon. Welcome back to the regal splendour of Oxfordshire. The Leukaemia and Lymphoma Research Blenheim Palace Triathlon is adding a sporting chapter to the rich legacy of this estate, because last year it played a major role in one of the most important moments in British triathlon history. 12 months ago, Alistair Brownlee made a winning return from injury here, less than 10 weeks ahead of becoming the Olympic champion in Hyde Park. What an inspirational thought for the elite men's field gathered here today. Let's find out which of them could feature at the front. The Brownlees may have dominated here last year, but they're not the only talent to emerge from Yorkshire in recent years. Well, whatever they're putting in the water in Leeds at the moment, it is working. Tom Bishop is up there with the Brownlees, with Non Stanford and the rest of the gang. Tom, what a fantastic group of people to train with up there.
Oh yeah, they're great. It's just that our whole squad just kind of thrives off the success of each other. So obviously Johnny and Alistair had their Olympic success, and then Non's kind of produced it this year, and so is Johnny and Alistair in each of their World Series races. So it's kind of my time now, my turn to kind of to do something good this weekend, but we'll see how it goes.
In 2011, Tom was second here, third in the world, and he won in Windsor. Since then, he's just kept getting better and better, but he'll face competition from the 2008 British Triathlon Super Series champion Richard Stannard, who characteristically takes an early lead in the swim. Richard, good to see you back here at Blenheim once again. Now, you've had a few injuries, just explain.
Yeah, I'm not in tip-top condition by any stretch. I'm held together with tape and experience, and I have to thank my physios for that. Enjoying it nonetheless, and I'm going to do my best today. It's part of the series, so I've got to race this race. 4 races in the series only, and I want to be up there at the end of that series, so I'm coming back into shape, hopefully, and we'll progress through the series.
This is probably one of my favourite races I ever do. Like, I've done it for, I think, 4 years now. When I was a youth at the start, and then I've raced as a senior and a junior continually. I think it's awesome. It's a real challenge, and obviously this run out of the swims, it always takes people by surprise. Even me, like, I've done it for the past 4 years now, and I know it's going to be painful.
And with that incline approaching, let's join your commentator, Patrick Winterton.
The leading group of 3 men, Bo Smith leading Richard Stannard. Stannard won't be too happy with that, and it's Smith who's going to be first out of the water. Tom Bishop in 3rd place at the moment as they come to the end of the 750-metre swim, and now that long run up into T1. Bishop will be happy with his position. He made a point of getting onto Stannard's feet. The chasing group coming out of the water now, and every single one of them will be wanting to make contact with the leading 3. Smith it is who makes the initial climb up towards T1. Looking strong, he's only 19 years old, a fresher at Leeds University, a member of Lancaster and Morecambe Triathlon Club, and they'll certainly be happy to see him in the front at this stage. Stannard hanging on in 2nd, Tom Bishop moving well in 3rd place. Bishop, I think, the stronger runner of these 3, will be biding his time. Stannard, 39 years old now, known as the Fish because he's won so many swims in triathlons. And I think even now he's decided that you don't win a triathlon by being first out of the water. You just have to be in contact. Bishop, 21, the twin brother of David. Tom has been going well. David's had a few injury problems, which has kept him out of many races. Tom, I know, plans to race in Windsor as well. He may have his mind set on winning the British Super Series this year. Windsor next week, and then we've got Liverpool and London in July. And the best 3 results to count. Now, Tom Bishop, very experienced, should be in and out of transition in a flash. Stannard even more so. So important to be in touch. Well, what a great swim by Bo Smith. Watch out for him in the future. And Bishop flying up the lane. Just needs to keep it under control. Bishop and Bo Smith go out of transition together, having come in together, and Stannard has lost just a little bit of ground, but it does mean he's going to have to work hard in the early stages. Otherwise, he may well find himself caught by the chasing group. Bishop heading down towards the Grand Bridge, one of the features across the lake here at Blenheim. Injured in December and January, so he missed out on running. He certainly had to cut down the amount of cycling he was doing, but he's looking pretty good in the early stages. Remember, Alistair Brownlee won this race last year with brother Johnny alongside him as they cross the finishing line. There go the masses, and a few problems for Alex Hill, who's certainly going to lose a little bit of time here. The shoe is off, his chain has come off as well, and he's in danger of missing out of being a member of the chasing group. Bo Smith pushing hard, Richard Stannard behind him, and out front Tom Bishop has got a little bit of space between himself and the rest of the field. Well, there are plenty of straights here in Blenheim where you can see what you've got to do to catch the man in front. Smith, no hesitation, jumping on the back wheel of Richard Stannard. And Stannard, having been on the feet of Bo Smith throughout the swim, won't complain. Stannard had a good year last year, silver at the Aquathlon World Championships, and he got a gold in the Biathlon World Championships in Dubai. This is the man he's chasing, Tom Bishop, who has settled into a rhythm. Very ambitious to think you're going to do the whole bike ride on your own. It's hurting Stannard, but he's still gaining on Tom Bishop, and he's broken away from Bo Smith. So the field being strung out by the pace set at the front. And Tom Bishop, of course, who won in Windsor in 2011, he'd love to add the Blenheim title to his name, but he's not going to find it that easy. Some long, long climbs here. Here come some of the youngsters. Penny leading the way in this group. Atkins just behind him. And Andrew Christie, another member of the Scottish Triathlon squad in that chasing group, a man from Edinburgh. And these are the two men that they're chasing. Tom Bishop in front, Richard Stannard, who has now closed the gap. They aren't the widest roads, but they're traffic free, and that certainly is something that the athletes enjoy.
It's a nice undulating bike course. It's just a good setting for a short, sharp workout.
Oh, absolutely. I think all of these country houses we've got around this country, you know, the massive heritage that this country has, should be used, and this displays this place brilliantly. And it is a fantastic tri course. I don't know what they were thinking a couple hundred years ago, or whatever, 400 years ago, but they must have had us in mind, because it works perfectly and it's a beautiful setting.
Up one of the steepest climbs on the course, and this is where Stannard is always going to struggle. Bishop, a very good climber indeed. He keeps a high gear, pushes hard, and opens up a gap of some 15-20 metres. Now, will he capitalise at this stage, or will he just settle in again? 20 kilometres, remember, the distance on these sprint triathlons on the bike. And number 056 is having a good day so far. Certainly a new situation for Bishop to be out in front on the bike. Stannard will be desperately trying to hang on to second place.
Well, it's not just about the elite men. Among the thousands still waiting to start here at Blenheim are the weekend warriors who have to shake themselves down and get ready for another day.
Mark Bayliss and Tyler O'Callaghan were the two leading weekend warriors yesterday, 4 triathlons apiece. And they'll be trying to do the same again today in just over 5.5 hours. It's a mighty big task.
Pretty tired, to be honest with you, but hopefully I've had enough rest overnight to be able to give it a good go today.
Did you have a huge breakfast this morning, or were you not able to face it?
No, definitely not. My body just didn't want to eat, didn't want to take anything on board. I've resorted to chocolate bars.
Morning, Mark. Morning, Ed. A good night's sleep?
Very good. Bizarrely, I feel better now than I did yesterday morning. But we haven't got a start yet, so yeah, but all good at the moment. Very good.
Ed, are the legs a bit stiff?
Yeah, a little bit. There's a few blisters as well from yesterday, so I'm going to be going with socks today and taking it a bit easier. But yeah, we're going to see how the first one goes.
So Mark Bayliss looking good in the early stages of day 2. The man who holds the record for the Arch to Arc triathlon, London to Paris. Here's Tyler O'Callaghan. He's a very strong cyclist indeed, but he's the man doing the chasing at the moment.
Don't want to overdo it, but yeah, having fun though. Really nice being out there with so many people.
Bayliss enjoying himself. Ed Sutton looks as though he's suffering.
Feeling kind of, the head's starting to go, so just I need to have a bit of a lie down, so just get through the run.
So back with the elite men. Richard Stannard, remember, pushed hard on the first lap. He caught Tom Bishop but couldn't stay with the pace, and now he's been caught by the chasing group. The youngster Penny at the front and pushing the pace very well indeed. Stannard is going to have to try and stay with the younger men. Tom Bishop, on the other hand, out on his own in front, and it looks as though he's decided to try and stay clear of the chasing group. That is a major task. One determined face and a hungry group behind him. So Tom Bishop coming into transition 2. He'll brake to his left. His experience showed in T1. He was the fastest through that transition. He could do with the same again to give himself an advantage going into the run. And there aren't many men in this field who can catch Tom Bishop. He's pretty slick when it comes to the foot stage of these triathlons. We saw that in Windsor in 2011. Who is going to challenge him amongst this lot? Will it be Christie? Will Stannard find a second wind? And of course, we've got some youngsters in there as well who have yet to prove themselves at this level. Well, there's no panic here from Tom Bishop. That may be a suggestion that he's confident. Stannard, on the other hand, looks eager to get away. And away he goes. Some chasing to do.
With the fastest runner on the course enjoying a healthy 100-metre lead, we'll be honest and say there was no way the finish of the men's race was going to be a thriller like the women's had been. It was a supreme runaway performance from Bishop, while behind him there was valuable experience to be gained for the juniors who would fight it out for the podium positions behind Bishop. With yet more waves getting away, another Yorkshire-based training partner of the Brownlees was hitting the course as part of a team relay. Due to injury, Rhys Davey was unable to take part in the elite race, but his speed on the bike was definitely turning heads before handing over to sports presenter Charlie Webster for the final 5K.
We're like the injured team because he can't run at the moment and I've had 4 months out of injury. Although you can't see, I'm actually strapped so much under my clothing. I've never done a triathlon before and I'm going to do the Virgin Active London Triathlon in July, so I want to see what a triathlon's like.
A successful tryout for Charlie, big smiles from her as well as from some others enthusiastic to join in. Future champions perhaps? Who knows, as a current one was about to finish.
There's no doubt about the winner here today at Blenheim. It will be Tom Bishop, a man who took medals at Junior World Championships only back in 2010. A very strong run indeed, but he's been under no pressure whatsoever, and he did all the hard work on the bike. That will be a very satisfying victory for him. Roll on the rest of the Super Series. He's certainly going to be in Windsor, and it's going to be a tough task to beat him. And it's Scotsman Andrew Christie who claims second place at Blenheim.
Tom, what a run out that was.
Yeah, I was quite pleased with that. Like the swim, in fact, one of my teammates from Leeds lit out the swim, so I was like, yeah, get on Richard's feet, get on his feet, so it was like nice. And then got onto the bike and I was like, I wanted a breakaway. And I rode hard, but no one was there, so I was just like, no, just keep on going, keep on going. And then I just felt all right, just got into a rhythm and then got onto the run and just tried to relax and just stride out as much as I could. So it was a good race, I enjoyed it.
A good race too for young Penny, the first junior and third overall. A very strong performance indeed from him. Atkins just behind him will claim fourth place, and then Richard Stannard coming across the line in fifth. He was up with Tom Bishop at one stage and just missing out on the podium today.
I went out quite hard, like committed to the run, and then sort of got into second place and was like, about 2K, I was like, maybe I got a shot here of getting on the podium. So yeah, I was quite surprised, but yeah, it was good.
So let's have a look at the results. Tom Bishop, of course, third out of the water, but he dominated the bike and he absolutely stormed the run to take the win. Andrew Christie in second place, 28 seconds behind, and Luke Penny, the best of the juniors, in third. And as the elite athletes start their recovery, Tyler O'Callaghan is desperately trying to get back to the start to join the final wave of the day and complete his fourth triathlon in the second successive day. And Mark Bayliss once again showing what an outstanding endurance athlete he is.
Yeah, good. Had a lot of fun on that one. Led the swim out, so always makes you feel a bit better. It was good.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we give this gentleman a clap as he's coming in? I believe it's his 8th triathlon over the 2 days. Come on, let's give him a clap as he's coming down.
So Tyler O'Callaghan enters the water for the final time. A quick wash of the goggles. Another 750 metres to swim. 4 times on Saturday, 4 times on Sunday. He's going to take a couple of weeks to get over this one.
That's it, finish.
And away goes the #1 weekend warrior. A number of athletes finishing their first. Ed Sutton has completed one of many.
Ed, let me help you up. What a monstrously big effort ahead of your 2-year cycle round the world. Have you got anything left for the start of that journey?
I've got 2 days to recover, so hopefully by then, yeah, lots of sleep.
Mark Bayliss, 7 triathlons in 1 weekend, and still he's got the energy to smile.
We've got to shake this guy by the hand. Mark, you are an absolute monster when it comes to triathlon and this course. You must be, even you, must be exhausted.
Yeah, I thought it was going all right. Even on that last swim of the last leg, that was sort of fine. But that bike and that last run was hard work, very hard work.
Tyler O'Callaghan was no doubt feeling the same. Remember, Bayliss did 7. O'Callaghan did 1 more.
Mate, how on earth did you manage that? 8 Blenheims in 2 days.
It's tough. The course is really, really tough. It's, you know, it's hilly. It pushes you. The only thing you can do is just keep going, one step, one step, one step, and you get there.
What was the last one like? Was it absolute agony?
It was, yeah. I've got a few words to describe it, but you know, it was times where I thought, I don't think I'm going to finish this lap, but when you're in the last one, you just keep going. You don't stop.
Well, 2 genuinely world-class performances from Tom Bishop and Vicky Holland. But this race hasn't just been about what's going on at the front. From the weekend warriors to the nervous debutantes, everybody has contributed to the brilliant atmosphere here at Blenheim. Next time we're at Windsor, but for now, from Oxfordshire in the sunshine, goodbye.